It is 3 a.m. in the UK and I've just finished Backlash, and as predicted, this was absolute filler. Garbage. Absolute filler garbage. The booking was outrageously bad, and no disrespect to the talents, because despite the bad build, the bad booking of the builds, the bad booking of a lot of the matches, the talent still cooked. Yeah, we'll get into that. It's enough to take away from them. It's not their fault. They're under this regime of Triple H. Oh, and by the way, the main event has got to be one of the worst things I've ever seen. Firstly, let's shout out the video package, guys, because although the build was awful, the video package actually got me hyped for this B, C, D tier pay per view. Despite the build, the video package got me a little bit gassed, got me kind of excited for this. I like being a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. These video packages got me hype, and then I very quickly remembered that this is a nothing pay per view. Let's get into it. First in the ring, first who comes out is Mr. L.A. Knight. Yeah. It's the fatal four-way match for the US title. And yeah, as it kicks off, everyone splits into their pairs. So obviously we've got LA Knight and Jacob Fatu fighting each other. We've got Priest and Drew McIntyre fighting it out. Fatal four-way. The crowd barely let this match have a chance to breathe, and they started chanting, "This is awesome," about 5 minutes in. Stop wasting this chant. I remember when this chant when you used to hear this chant, you knew the match was banging, and now they just do it all the time just to seem like they're a good crowd on TV. Look, it just started. Yeah, calm down. It's not awesome yet. Anyway, they went on to have a decent match. We had a little bit of the Backlash 2007 Fatal 4-Way spot. Everyone hit their finishes out on each other. I think someone fell onto. I think Jacob fell onto someone, knocked out, trying to pin, kicked out. Boom, bit more beef between the four. I think Drew hit a claymore on someone, and we had Priest pull out the ref out the ring after a 2 count, and Michael Cole starts screaming, Damian Priest has screwed Drew McIntyre out of a championship again. Sorry, he's in the match in a fatal 4-way where it's every man for himself. He didn't screw him out of anything? This is completely within the rules. Stop trying to feed us a feud. Stop trying to feed us things that aren't true. Don't insult our intelligence. He's in the match. You didn't screw him. Of course he's going to do that. He's got incentive to do that. Okay. Anyway, we had some other cool spots. LA Knight did a springboard, on the middle rope, jumped onto the top rope, elbow drop. I think he hit it twice on Fatu. Priest and Drew were fighting out in the crowd. Drew had this spot where he Priest had this spot where he grabbed Drew's face into the camera and said, "Bored at work, lol." Shouting out to the WrestleMania tweet Drew does. I hope Drew does it every year at WrestleMania. Then we get this crazy South of Heaven chokeslam from like a table in the crowd, or from like an elevated platform in the crowd through a table. A crazy spot like that. Then we get to like the sort of closing parts of the match. We got LA Knight's got Jacob Fatu on the announce table. LA Knight's on the top rope. He's about to do some crazy elbow drop. We get Solo Sikoa, Mr. Jobber, Mr. Fake Tribal Chief, sidekick, pulls Solo Sikoa, pulls Jacob Fatu off the announce table, saves his life, saves his title potentially. And now LA Knight's coming to, lay the smackdown on Jacob Fatu and Solo. We got a new debutant, Jeff Cobb. I ain't gonna cap. I ain't got a clue who this guy is, man. So you guys who know Bal, you guys who know about this guy, let me know in the comments. I don't know this brother. But to me, this just looked like a recycle of Backlash last year in France, where we had Tangaloa, the great Tangaloa, the GOAT, debuted at Backlash this time last year. Backlash, was it France? Lyon, France. It's kind of seemed like a rewind of that, we used Solo, introduce a new member. We were recycling again, as Becky Lynch likes to call people. We were recycling again. Not a fan of that, but I don't know about this guy, so let me know what you think. So this interference happened. Jacob gets the win, and as predicted, Jacob Fatu retains. So next we got the women's title match, and in my opinion, to be fair to them, the build was okay. You know, I think there was some good promos here. I didn't like how it started. I didn't like how Becky just showed up at WrestleMania, turned heel the next night, won the titles, lost the titles. I didn't like any of that. But you know, the back and forth promos have been good. This is probably the best built match on this card, and these two had match of the night in my opinion. Yeah, so let's the booking's not great overall in the WWE right now. You know what I'm saying? But you know these two did well. I think they're locked in. One thing I liked, yeah, is what I always think that the show starts as soon as you make your entrance. Like as soon as you come through the curtains, the show starts. When Lyra came out, to her, she's got her entrance with the wings and the theatrics and all that. But normally she comes out smiling, baby face, she's tapping everyone's hands, high fiving everyone. She was locked in from the entrance, and I think little things like that really add to a match because your character work starts as soon as you come through the curtains. She was not. She was locked in on Becky. She knows Becky's a Hall of Famer. She knows she's defending a title against quite a threat. Becky's beaten her up quite a lot recently. She's got something to prove. I like this. I like that she was locked in from her entrance. It's the little things that matter. Yeah, and then match kicks off. Starts off as real graps, technical. We had Lyra putting Becky in a surfboard and then sort of rolling around in a surfboard, then flipped her all the way upside down, and then actually had her in a submission type surfboard situation. We had some bridging Northern Light suplex. I love that move. It was a very technical start, and then a bit of chain wrestling, and then it starts to break down into a bit of a fight. They're slapping each other, they're hitting each other. Becky gets Lyra on the outside and throws her into the crowd in front of her fiance and starts taunting the fiance. Says, "Oh, is this your girl? Is this your girl?" Becky, bear in mind, she's come back. She's at that stage in her career where she's a legend. She's almost always gonna get cheered. But she's done some great heel work because the crowd in St. Louis were booing her. They were cheering Lyra, so she's obviously done her job well. Shout out Becky Lynch. She's putting over Lyra as a babyface. She's managed to be a returning superstar and get herself booed. So yeah, props to Becky Lynch for that. We go into some fights. There's a few weak forearm exchange. We got the yay boo, couple weak forearms. They didn't look too great, but after that we get into some sick reversals. We had Lyra get put into a disarmer. Lyra reverses it into an armbar. Becky goes back into the disarmer. I think Lyra gets out. We get a manhandle. Go for a manhandle slam, reversed into a pin. Then Lyra gets out, Becky manhandle slams her anyway. Lyra kicks out. I think she might have kicked out of a second manhandle slam somewhere in there as well. So Becky does some great heel work here. She takes off the exposed turnbuckle. Exposes the turnbuckle, boom. And then so now I think it was someone. Who was it at the end? So yes, I think Lyra smashed Becky into the middle turnbuckle, so she didn't get disqualified. Or one of them smashed each other into the middle turnbuckle, didn't get disqualified. Comes back up, then Lyra hits a Nightwing, bang, goes for the pin. But in that little split second, the ref started to get slightly distracted by she's trying to do her job as Michael Cole says, and rightly so. Trying to unexpose the turnbuckle. Someone almost just went into it. There's a few split seconds where the ref's distracted on Lyra's pinning Becky after the Nightwing. And then she turns around. 1, 2, kick out. And that split second has saved Becky Lynch with a great bit of heel little antics there. Then we sort of, get a few more reversals. Becky hits a thumb to the eye in Lyra, and it looks pretty hard. Like Lyra looks like she's grabbing her nose and eye for her. Either she's selling it amazingly, or it looks like she's really taking a blow to the face right there. But yeah, Becky tries to manhandle slam her, turns it into a roll up. Lyra's still holding her face. Lyra reverses the roll up into her own, still holding her face. 1, 2, 3, Lyra retains. And then, as Lyra's still in pain. As soon as Becky kicks out, well, she didn't kick out, she got pinned. As soon as she lost, she rolled out the rollout, stomping her out, disarm her, and did not let go. Bunch of guys came into the ring, tried to take her off her. Becky got a bit of a heat back, walks to the back. Jason Jordan's trying to tell her off. Becky squaring up to him, and yeah, Lyra, I think she looked good coming out of this. I think this is the best built feud on the card. I think this is the feud that's actually elevated someone. I don't think the Fatal 4-Way did that for anyone. I don't think anything else on this card did that for anyone. This one actually built a, yeah, good. I think this was a good job all round. It's my favorite match of the night. Next we have this Intercontinental title match that was put together. I don't think there was a number one contenders match or anything like that. It just got announced. So Penta just, gets to get announced into an IC title match. He did. Wait, who was? Yeah, Braun Breaker didn't get a rematch or even want to get the IC title back. He's just moved on. So I guess we just inserted Penta in it for no reason. Dominic comes out with all four members of the Judgment Day. I say four, three others. So we've got JD, Lito, Finn Balor. This is the bombment day. Well, first of all, we got to disband this group as soon as possible, man. Just put AJ and Finn together and just disband this group. And I want to see better things for all these guys, but it's not happening here. This is the bombment day. These guys are bums, apart from Dominic now. But yeah, for some reason, these guys had a little change in heart. They let Dominic go off on his own. I like that. I like that touch. But yeah, I'll see how the rest of the match goes. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, with this booking. This was an okay match. It was a bit faster paced than anything we saw so far. We had a bit more sort of luchador style wrestling as you'd expect from these two. Dominic hit an Oblivion, which was a nice touch. Penta hit a Mexican Destroyer on the apron, which was a nice touch. And I think when these guys were in the crowd, just as I thought they were going to do something with Dom to try and, develop him into his own person, the crowd was still cheering him. They want to cheer him like as a babyface. Doesn't seem like they're going to pull the trigger just yet because here come the Judgment Day through the crowd. Here we go again. And bear in mind, on Raw, this same thing happened. It was Penta versus JD. Was it? Yeah, Penta versus JD, and we had Dominic out, we had Finn out, we had Carlito out. This is the same thing. And there's a little something happened here. We had Carlito distracting the ref on one side, and then on the floor side, we had JD holding up Penta while Finn Balor's about to hit him, and he has a little change of mind. He's like, okay, no, you know what? I'm gonna go get a chair. And in the time he goes to get the chair, he comes back. The ref turns around and he catches Finn. It's like a reverse Eddie Guerrero. He catches Finn with the chair in his hand. And these guys are bums, man. They just look like idiots. They just look goofy, man. They look goofy. Finn Balor's got caught red-handed with a chair in his hands. JD's holding Penta by the arms. Ref turns around and is like, what are you guys doing? You. Out of here. Out of here. The crowd says it with him. There goes the bums. Judgment Day out. Penta's at top rope now. I think ref distracted again for some goofy ass reason. I can't remember. And now, speaking of raw recycling, guess who comes to the ring? It's El Grande Americano. I'm pretty sure we saw the same thing with slightly different because we had the three members of Judgment Day and we had Chad Gable instead. El Grande Americano comes out and he headbutts him with the the metal plate he's been using. Penta falls to the floor. Dominic gets top rope up, jumps up, frog splash. 1, 2, 3. Dominic retains, as I predicted, because this pay-per-view is filler. So let me just I know the WWE like to insult my intelligence, but let me just go back to Raw. So Raw, we had Penta versus JD, and he got interrupted by Carlito, Dominic, and Finn, and Chad Gable. Same kind of spot as well. We're doing the same thing. Penta was top rope. Chad Gable attacked him while he was on the Penta was sound at top rope, and Penta won. Penta won a 4v1 situation, and he won that match. And now you're telling me it's 4v1 again. And you just add a tiny little metal plate. Okay, now he loses. Okay, so to beat Penta 4v1. This guy's Superman. He'll survive that. But in this case, 4v1 plus a headbutt from a metal mark. Okay, now Penta will survive. Won't survive. Come on, man. We just saw this on Raw. And for some reason, Michael Cole was like, oh, that goofball Chad Gable's out here. I don't know where you see Chad Gable for starters. As El Grande Americano. Moving on. Another thing I predicted on my card, I think, did I even talk about this? Jey Uso, Logan Paul. I think I might have tried to predict this. I thought this was going to be added to Backlash. Apparently not. This has been added to Saturday night's main event as they just announced. So that means there's another filler match in the next pay-per-view too. That's great. We're going to drag that one out as well. Now we get into the pure garbage. As predicted, this pay-per-view was going to be bad. And now we get into the real garbage part of the show, the last hour and a half. Here's Gunther versus Pat McAfee. This match shouldn't even be on the card. Why is a former world champion, not a former world champion from like 10 years ago, former world champion as of like a month ago, who had it for 8 months, is fighting an announcer, and everyone said that this was gonna be justified because he's only fighting an announcer because it's gonna build to something bigger. It's gonna build to Goldberg returning. Goldberg did not return. Surprise, surprise. This was purely just dead booking. We've got so many people on the roster that could deserve this spot. We've given it to Pat McAfee. They just want viral moments. Karrion Kross was right. There's no Goldberg. Hold that. Hold that. You joke men trying to predict that. You can't justify this anymore. This is a joke. This is a joke. And as I was hoping, that didn't happen. We didn't get a 2 minute squash match, a 30-second squash match even. Okay, they kind of like played it off a bit as Gunther being a bully and dragging it out, but Pat McAfee got way more offense than he should have. This is the ring general. He's meant to be like a dominant in the ring. Matt is sacred. He's meant to have respect for this business. And you got Pat McAfee escaping wrist locks, doing kip ups out of wrist locks. We got Pat McAfee striking Gunther. He even got he struck him to the ground. It looked like he was going to get a near fall. Gunther kicked out at 1. Okay, that's a redeeming point. Got way too much offense in. He got a couple chops in, and then. And this is just, I think Pat took a power bomb. He got put into a Boston Crab. He didn't tap out. Then he got put into a crossface. Didn't tap out. Then Michael Cole comes to the apron. This is where this gets even more overbooked. Michael Cole comes to the apron and he grabs. Gunther starts pinning Pat McAfee after another power bomb maybe, and then he grabs. No, sorry, this is No, other way around. Pat McAfee somehow got Gunther to the floor. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to remember. That's why I got that wrong. I don't even want to remember that. Pat got Gunther to the floor somehow and was pinning him. And Michael Cole held Gunther's foot down at the apron to try and 1, 2, 3 get him down, get him to lose. First of all, if someone's foot is under the bottom rope, the ref should spot that, and that shouldn't count. That's a rope break. Why is the ref not spotting that? So you only spot it when a heel does it? Okay. Now the good guys can get away with everything. This is the WWE we live in. When good guys want to attack a bad guy, no security, all the security comes out. We've got 10, 15 man, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, all these guys coming out. When a bad guy does it, they let it slide. And now, when Michael Cole's got Gunther's foot under the rope, ref don't spot it. Okay, 2 kick out. Now Gunther's getting annoyed. He puts Pat McAfee in a sleeper hold, and Pat McAfee does not tap out. Pat McAfee doesn't tap out to Gunther's sleeper hold when Gunther tapped out to Jey Uso. This is a joke. This is embarrassing, man. This is a joke, bruv. How are we doing this? Where's the continuity? How can Gunther tap out to Jey Uso for a world title after 8 months, ring general, and in a WrestleMania title match, and Pat passed out? We gave him the Stone Cold treatment. What, Pat's meant to be tougher than Gunther now? Also, Gunther's kayfabe, Gunther's sleeper hold should be more powerful than Jay's sleeper hold. So Pat is more. This is. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm losing my head. Man. This was garbage. And it wasn't even for Goldberg. We genuinely thought that Pat McAfee and Gunther was going to be a pay-per-view level match, and we've put that in there. It didn't build Goldberg. It didn't build nothing. And what does that do for Gunther? Yeah, you beat Pat McAfee. In fact, it probably makes him look worse because he got kind of, he took a bit of offense. He shouldn't have taken any offense. It should have been done in 5 seconds. I don't know what to say about this anymore, man. Gunther's lost all his aura. I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is not good. This is not good. And now we're at the main event. I was surprised at the time, though, because at this point it's 2 a.m., which means there's still an hour of the show and there's one match. First of all, Triple H, these 5-match pay-per-view cards, we've got to do something about this. People are going to Backlash, paying money. Like, you guys are gloating about your ticket sales and your gates and you're breaking records because you're bumping everyone. You're not breaking records because the product's good. You're breaking records because you bumped up tickets prices by like 10 times. You got 5 matches on a pay-per-view card? What's going on? Anyway, this got to be one of the worst main events and overbooked garbage main events I've ever seen. And fair, all right, let's start from the beginning. You know what? At the beginning, the first 5, maybe 10 max minutes, it was okay. I feel like Cena actually tried to wrestle a bit this time, more than he did in the main event of WrestleMania, against the company's biggest babyface. But we've already talked about that. But at least Cena, I feel like he tried to a little bit. I'm not saying that with too much emphasis. A little bit more. He was doing a bit of leapfrogs, sleeping leaps, a couple sleeper holds. He was doing a bit more this time, I feel. And I think so. Right at the beginning of the match, I think Cena goes to shake Orton's hand, or Orton, yeah, Cena goes to shake Orton's hand. Boom, poking the eye by Cena, gets the upper hand. Little did he know, although Randy's a babyface, he's always kind of had this although Randy's been a face, he's kind of kept a lot of his qualities. He's not as psycho as he was before, but it comes back and Randy pokes him in the eye again. Hold that. Cena actually tried to wrestle a bit more. The match started to go on. We got to I think we got AA first, maybe. We hit some AAs, we hit some RKOs. There was a spot where Cena tried to do the 5 moves of doom a lot quicker. And I don't think we've seen this before somehow, but Cena was doing a normal speed shoulder block that he normally does. I say normal speed because what he did at WrestleMania 41 was not normal speed. That was garbage. Goes for a shoulder block towards the hard cam. Randy comes into the shot. Boom! RKO mid shoulder block. That's not something I've seen before. But that got me to pop. I like that one. Cena sort of rolled out the way, and now Orton starts hearing the voices. He gets to the corner, he starts lining up a punt. Orton goes for the punt. Cena reverses, picks him up. FU 1, 2, kick out, and now the match starts deteriorating. The overbooking starts coming into play. We knew it was going to be a finisher fest. Yeah, Cena Orton in 2025 was always going to be a finisher fest. I'm pretty sure them in 2014 at the Rumble, them in 2014 in the Hell in a Cell, pretty sure they were finisher fests. 2025 was definitely going to be a finisher fest, but this still exceeded what I thought was going to happen. We had Cena start mocking Randy Orton. He's going for the RKO. Cena instead lined up a punt. Goes for the punt. Randy ducks. Randy pushes Cena. Boom. The ref is down. Ref goes down. FU. Cena gets the title. Goes for it. RKO. It's just FU, RKO, FU, RKO. Finisher fest. AA. Sorry, I should be calling it an AA. Yeah. So yeah, we got an RKO. The ref was obviously down. Slow count. 1, 2. Kick out by Cena. Of course he does. The crowd was very much pro Randy. There was a little bit of let's go Cena. Cena sucks at one point. There was a bit of you can't wrestle. Yes, he can. But otherwise, the crowd was very pro Randy, which is always good to see. I like to see non-smarky crowds. You cheer the good guy, you boo the bad guy. That's how it should be. That's what gets the magic in pro wrestling, especially in a main event. So yeah, we've got slow count, kick out. Randy's getting annoyed, goes outside, announce table, clears the table. And now we get a bad ref bump. So ref bumps. WWE refs have like 1 HP health. The first one hit the turnbuckle. All right, yeah, that warranted a slow count. These guys are weak. These guys are made of glass. This one now he's on the outside for some reason. And he ends up getting pushed into the steel steps head first. If a turnbuckle warrants a slow count, this referee might need to go to get taken to a local medical facility. I ain't seen ref bumps like that in a while. So yeah, ref goes into steel steps. So now Orton picks up Cena, and Orton FUs him onto an announce table. The table doesn't break, and I think off camera, when the camera's panned into Randy Orton, the table buckled and then broke because it panned back and then the table was broken. I think the crowd sort of gasped at it. Now, I didn't really know what Randy was doing here, but I think after seeing what happened, I think we know what's going on. I don't think Randy was happy that the announcer table didn't break. So Randy Orton goes to the ring, pulls out a classic table, the ref is still down, of course, pulls out a classic table, sets it up, picks up Cena, bang, FU through the normal table. Okay, and so I think that was just to give the fans, his hometown fans, a little table break. I like that. I like a nice touch from Randy. And then Randy just, this is like, no time wasted. Randy's trying to win this title. He picks up Cena, throws him into the ring. He does the full taunt. He starts gearing up the RKO, smashing his hands on the floor. Full taunt. Cena gets up, no reversal, bang, RKO. And then there's no ref. We got a WrestleMania 24 Charles Robinson style run down the ramp. This is where it starts to get hella overbooked. Runs down the ramp. 1, 2, Cena kicks out. This is Super Cena. This is Super Cena. He's kicked out about how many RKOs at this point? He's kicked out of FUs through two FUs through tables. I think Randy also hit a FU into RKO at some point as well, which is cool. We've seen that spot before, but it's still cool to see. This one, that the old spot was through a table. This one was just straight onto the mat, which is nice. And now Cena just loses his mind. Cena straight up just goes. At some point, Cena gets back up, goes outside, grabs the title, goes to just smack Randy Orton in the face with the title, probably to get himself disqualified. Randy ducks, bang, another ref down. Another ref is down. Now this is so overbooked. We've had 3 ref bumps. The same ref bump took the turnbuckle and the steps, and the new ref came in. Now he's taking the title to the head. This is getting very, very silly now. Ref is knocked out. RKO, bang, by Randy Orton. Another one. This is a finisher fest. This is a joke. This is very, very silly at this point. I'm commentating, but this is very silly. Don't get me wrong. I may be commentating this. This is garbage. Yeah, not to put it lightly. And now he pins him clean. Obviously, the ref is knocked out, so no one's counting it. The fans counted to about 6, 7, and then Randy turned around and was like, "Oh God, where is everyone?" And now, about Nick Aldis and about 10 guys come to look at this ref who got hit in the head with a title. What? Wait. How many ref bumps have we seen during the Bloodline, 4 years of Roman Reigns' title reign? During any heel shenanigans during a main event, have we seen ref bumps? There was already a ref bump in the steel steps, and now they decide to look at someone. Now they decide, and not one doctor, by the way. Nick Aldis and about 10 guys. I don't see one doctor, so I don't know why we've suddenly decided to start checking on refs, because that's never been part of WWE law. So now we're checking on WWE refs. Randy obviously, as I got annoyed, Randy got annoyed. He RKO'd Nick Aldis. That's another 50k fine. We're probably going to be inflation on that at some point, because this ain't going to stop. Then he RKO's about everyone else there. So that's about RKO. This is very, very silly, very overbooked, absolute rubbish, absolute garbage. It's just, how many RKO? We've seen about 15 RKOs at this point. RKO. It's laid out all of them. And then, as if this wasn't overbooked enough by this point, Randy Orton now lines up another punt, like it hasn't been reversed every single time he's tried it. He lines up another punt on Cena. He goes for it. Now R-Truth comes out to help. He gets in the way and he's pleading. It's kind of funny that R-Truth came out. Now, if all the other overbooking wasn't here, I wouldn't have minded this one being in it. This one's kind of funny. But this combined with everything else, it's just too much, man. It's just too much. R-Truth, at least it wasn't Travis Scott, though. Man, the bar is so low. The bar is low. It wasn't Travis Scott. It's a win. Oh, my God. R-Truth comes out to how he's pleading. He's like, "Oh, don't do it, man. Don't do it." RKO to R-Truth. Shock. Surprise. And now here we go. Cena, that's the last one. Bang, low blow, title belt, bang, right to the face of Randy Orton, same as WrestleMania 41, low blow, title belt. And now, conveniently enough, the ref number 1, who got bumped the second time into the steel steps, he's been down for about 10-15 minutes now, and now he gets the energy to get up, gain consciousness, just as Cena's getting the upper hand. Finally, coincidentally gains consciousness, crawls into the ring. 1, 2, 3, Cena wins. Lol. What an overbooked load of garbage that main event was. This could have been alright, man. This could have been alright. What was going on? We had like 3 ref bumps. We had 10 guys coming out to look after ref. Like, suddenly we'd care about refs. We got like 15, 20 RKOs. We had like, we had a decent amount of AAs. We had R-Truth. We had low blows. We had multiple title shots. what is going on? And then Cena picks up the mic, he tells everyone, cut the music, you get nothing. He said, I'm the last real champion, I need competition, like the same thing he said for the last few weeks. There was still about 15 minutes left until 3 a.m. and I was hoping something was happening. Nope, nothing happens. We get the end credits, and that's Backlash. I was 5 for 5 of predictions. This was filler. The only thing I didn't predict was the debut of, I think his name Jacob Cobb, was it? So let me know in the comments what he's about. I need to know about him. I'm hearing good things already from a few mates. But yeah, Fatu retained. Lyra retained. Lyra looked good though. Shout out Lyra Becky. That was the best match of the night, and Lyra actually came out looking elevated. Her stock has increased from when she went into this match. So that's success right there. That's good. Gotta give credit where it's due. Dominic retained via Judgment Day interference, as I said, bar for bar. Gunther retained. It should have been more of a squash, but there you go. And Cena retained via incredible amounts of overbooking, but also via heel shenanigans as expected. So filler pay-per-view. Yeah. And imagine the next one, Saturday Night Main Event. We have Jay and Logan announced, so that's going to be the same as well, isn't it? But yeah, it's now 3:25. Got to edit this. Peace, and yeah, that's Backlash.